I got a question for you, Tank. At 147, how does a fight with you and Terence Crawford look?
147. Shit, if I
147.
tap that trend, you know he going to sleep.
I already know. I already know he
ain't
is.
got no chance.
I already know he is.
Said no chance.
I got round 5.
Shit, I got round 6.
Errol Spence or Bud Crawford?
Errol.
He can't go against his boy. He doing what he's supposed to be doing. I respect that.
No, I ain't. I know for sure.
I'm going with Bud.
Ain't wow.
I think wow. I think no, we rapping, me and the champ rap. I just think that, Earl he hadn't been in front of nobody with the tools that Bud got. I think Bud can give him a little bit more problem than a lot of guys standing in front of him with bricks in their shoes. I think Bud ain't gonna stand there, and it wouldn't behoove him or be smart to stand there and try to trade with Earl. He would have to box Earl.
All right, but now you see how you say that, right? Okay, imagine we in a, let's just say we in a gunfight, right?
Yeah.
And I got a metal shield, and the opposite person got a glass shield.
Okay, champ.
Who gonna come out on top?
The guy with the metal shield.
Okay. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, but how much he run around once them hands get on him, it's gonna slow him down. And once
definitely if he touch him, he definitely if he touch him clean, he'll break him down.
Ain't no if. He gonna touch him. He gonna touch him.
And that's what we gonna see what he made of. That's what we gonna see, his resolve and what he's really made of. That'll answer all the questions I need to know who the dominance at 147. If he touch and break that shield and Bud can't stand up to that, that'll let me know all respect. I gotta give it to him.
I ain't gonna lie. If he felt like he was gonna win the fight, he would have took this offer that they gave him.
Oh yeah, definitely. After the second round, when I heard him, I felt as if he couldn't handle my power like I can handle his. I remember him throwing a overhand looping left, and he caught me right on the button. I think it was the first or the second round, and I was just like, "This is it." I was like, "Oh, okay." It's gonna be a long night for him.
That was obviously Gervonta Davis' take leading up to the Errol Spence versus Crawford fight. He felt that Crawford has a glass jaw and he has a glass shield while Errol Spence has a metal shield. That's why he picked Errol Spence to beat Crawford. Well, on fight night, it went the other way around. I know Gervonta Davis hates to admit it, but Tank and Crawford are more alike than apart as far as their abilities in the ring. They both have devastating power, tremendous speed, great footwork, great IQ, could adapt in the ring. They make adjustments right on the fly and possess counterpunching ability where they could end the night with one punch. Last but not least, they both have the killer instinct. However, the only difference is Crawford is already proven, not just as a top 10 pound-for-pound fighter. I already told you guys for the past 6 years that Crawford has been the pound-for-pound #1, second to none. But against Errol Spence, who is ranked pound-for-pound #2 coming into the fight, Crawford showed that he's an all-time great, top 5 to top 10, without a question. Crawford showed that the better the competition get, the better he gets. Since Crawford is not a human, he's a Saiyan. All he has to do, if he ever feels like he needs to turn it up, is turn Super Saiyan. Like for real, that's how good Crawford is. Nobody, and I mean nobody, is messing with Crawford. For so long, we have always been asking and looking for the next Floyd when the next Floyd has been here all along. Now we're going to have to start saying who's the next Crawford. Because, like Crawford said, this is the Crawford era. Nevertheless, Gervonta assistant coach, who is the technical coach, Kenny, Kenny Ellis came out and gave his reaction to Crawford knocking Errol Spence out. Here is exactly what Gervonta Davis' trainer had to say. Check it out.
I thought he was going to win the first half, and I thought Spence was going to come on at the end. But some of the things did happen with Crawford. I said, Crawford going to hurt Spence with a right hand to the body in the first half of the fight, and I'd be damned if he didn't do it. The body shots was on point, man. On point. But Spence just couldn't, you know, he just didn't have it last night. It could have been one of those things where Spence lost to an undefeated fighter, a great fighter, pound for pound fighter.
Pound for pound fighter.
It's the perfect fight to walk off to the sunset. He had a good run. Why go up to 54? Why rematch after last night? You know, unless their camp knows something that we don't know. Other than that, I would just retire.
Now, I'm going to leave a link for the full interview in the description box below. But when it comes to Crawford versus Errol Spence, before you guys start making excuses, just remember one thing. When Errol Spence fought Crawford, he was coming off the best performance of his career when he knocked out Ugas. So I don't want to hear no excuses, because the best version of Errol Spence that we have ever seen was against Ugas. Therefore, we know there was nothing wrong with Errol Spence when he fought Crawford. The only thing that went wrong is him fighting Crawford, since Crawford is on a whole nother level. He's on that GOAT level, the Floyd Mayweather level. He is on a level of his own. So there's nothing wrong with being second to the GOAT level. And that's what Errol Spence is. If the same version of Errol Spence that fought Crawford ends up fighting Ugas again, Danny Garcia, Mikey Garcia, Sean Porter, and Kell Brook, he will beat them in the same fashion, if not better. So I don't want to hear no doctor excuses from YouTube, nor any weight excuses, because Crawford had a hard time making weight too. It don't matter if the fight happened at heavyweight. The results will still be the same. I mean, the hate for Crawford is so real. They got a doctor, not Errol Spence doctor, but just a random doctor on YouTube talking about how Errol Spence had an illness. How do you know? Did this doctor diagnose Errol Spence before the fight? Did he examine him? If not, everything this doctor said is irrelevant, because last time I checked, Errol Spence passed all of his physicals. You see, these excuses are not even coming from Errol Spence himself, nor his doctor. These are excuses from Errol Spence fans that are heartbroken. I get it, but you guys have to give credit where credit is due. The only illness Errol Spence had during the fight was an illness called Bud. Crawford told Errol Spence, if you get out of line, I'm gonna put you out. And Errol Spence responded with, you know I'm gonna get out of line. Well, guess what? There was a price to pay if Errol Spence got out of line. And we all witnessed that price last Saturday night. Errol Spence was simply getting caught too flush by Crawford, and Crawford had his number. Those two things combined equals knockout. Crawford have too much power to be hitting anybody flush on the chin too many times, which that's what ended up happening to Errol Spence. He was never able to make adjustments. While on the other hand, Crawford made adjustments to Errol Spence after round one. He already had his number, his timing, his pattern, so on and so forth. You see, Errol Spence did everything he usually do to his opponents against Crawford. Everything Errol Spence did against Ugas, he tried it against Crawford. However, Crawford handicapped him of his best attributes. I told you guys, Crawford excels in beating his opponents at their own game. Against Kell Brook, he countered the counterpuncher. Against Errol Spence, when Errol was in the pocket, trying to muscle Crawford, smothering him, then pushing him off after establishing position, Crawford adapted to that and countered him in the pocket, which was frustrating. And then when Errol Spence tried to move, he started getting hit more than when he was coming forward. So there was no escaping the knockout from Crawford. I told you guys, once Crawford has your number, the fight is over. This is not new. This is what happens to every single Crawford opponent. And every time Crawford does something unbelievable, such as knocking out his last 12 opponents at the highest level for the past 7 years, the Crawford critics and haters always have something to say. They always have some type of excuse, which is so ironic because these are the same people that say or accuse Crawford of ducking these guys. Errol Spence fans said that Crawford was ducking Errol Spence. Then when he knocked him out, they make excuses by bringing up a random doctor on YouTube and acting like whatever he said is factual. These are the same people that said Crawford was ducking Shawn Porter. They said that for a year straight. As soon as Crawford fought Shawn Porter and knocked him out, they came out with excuses, as if Shawn Porter wasn't coming off his best performance of his career right before he fought Crawford. In fact, if you compare when Crawford fought Shawn Porter and when Errol fought Shawn Porter, you could say Crawford fought the better version, because when Errol Spence fought Shawn Porter, a lot of people felt that Ugas beat Shawn Porter. However, when Crawford fought Shawn Porter came off with the best performance of his career. And even before that, he had a close fight with Errol Spence in a fight that could have went either way. But the hate for Crawford is so real that they even tried to take the credit of Crawford being the first one to knock out Shawn Porter by claiming his dad Kenny stopped the fight too early, when Crawford just knocked down Shawn Porter 2 times in 1 round, and he was about to stop him in a brutal fashion, just like he did Errol Spence. You see, Kenny knew exactly what time it was. It was time for Crawford to brutally knock out Shawn Porter. Once Crawford has your number, the fight is over. He has the killer instinct where he's not going to let you survive the fight. Kenny knew that, and he saved his son. He did the right thing. However, he did damage control in order to make excuses to why he did. But that wasn't the reason he stopped the fight. The reason he stopped the fight is because he didn't want to see Shawn Porter, his son, take the type of punishment Errol Spence took. Kenny knew once Crawford has your number, the fight is over. Shawn Porter knew it too. That's why he was frustrated, hitting the canvas while stumbling to get up. He knew what was coming, a devastating knockout. And that's why Kenny threw the white towel. He did not want Crawford to turn his son into a meme like he did Errol Spence. Remember, as soon as Crawford knew he was down on the unofficial, he got up and dropped Shawn Porter after 10 seconds. That's what I mean. Once Crawford has your number is over, because all he has to do is turn Super Saiyan and finish you. The funny part to all of this, back then, a lot of Errol Spence fans came out and said they were not impressed. However, with the same breath, they made excuses to why Crawford knocked out Shawn Porter. And I responded to them by asking them, would you be impressed if Crawford knocks out Errol Spence? Or would you be making excuses after the fight like you are now? That's when they responded with, Crawford is ducking Errol Spence. Errol Spence is going to stop him. But they never responded to the question, when we all know it was Crawford who has been calling out and chasing Errol Spence for the past 5 years. But like I said before, the hate for Crawford is so real. No matter what he does, even after he does everything he's supposed to do, Crawford critics still criticize him. For example, Crawford critics told him he was ducking Gamboa. But when he fought Gamboa and beat Gamboa, the same Gamboa that Mikey Garcia was ducking, all of a sudden, they tried to discredit that win. Crawford haters also said to him that he was ducking Postal. As soon as Crawford fought and beat Postal, they tried to discredit that win. Remember, Crawford fought these guys immediately after the critics and the haters told Crawford he was ducking them. Then they told Crawford he was ducking Flex Diaz, a gold medalist. As soon as Crawford watched him, all of a sudden they tried to discredit the win. The same people who said he was ducking him. Then they told Crawford to fight Jeff Horn. Crawford watched Jeff Horn. the same guy who beat Manny Pacquiao. I don't care what nobody say. Jeff Horn beat Pacquiao. Go back and watch that fight. Jeff Horn bullied Pacquiao, and Crawford bullied Jeff Horn. Matter of fact, he smashed Jeff Horn. Then Keith Thurman, who Crawford was calling out at the time, he told Crawford to fight Amir Khan. That's when Crawford smashed Amir Khan. He knocked him out. All of a sudden, the fans told Crawford he was ducking the undefeated Jose Benavidez. As soon as Crawford knocked out Benavidez, they made excuses and tried to discredit the win. I even remember when the fans, Errol Spence himself, and Derrick James told Crawford to fight Kell Brook. As soon as Crawford fought and beat Kell Brook, they tried to discredit the win as if Kell Brook was washed up when Crawford fought Kell Brook after Kell Brook had 3 wins against really good opponents, and Kell Brook himself said he was in the best shape of his life. Compared to when Errol Spence fought Kell Brook was coming off a knockout loss, and he had to move down 2 weight divisions to fight Errol Spence. Triple G had broke Kell Brook's eye socket at the time. Additionally, when Crawford fought Kell Brook came back and fought Amir Khan and looked spectacular. So he couldn't be that bad. And we can't forget when everyone was accusing Crawford of ducking Sean Porter. As soon as Crawford fought him and beat him, they made excuses. Just like they said the same thing about Errol Spence, how Crawford is ducking him. As soon as Crawford washed him, now they making excuses. But you guys don't have to worry about anything because Errol Spence has a rematch clause. He can activate it and show us what time it is at 154. But trust me, you guys do not want to see that fight. The rematch is going to be worse than the first fight. If Crawford already has your number, the fight is even going to be shorter. So be careful what y'all ask for when y'all ask for the rematch, since Errol Spence has a rematch clause and Crawford has already accepted to fight Errol Spence at 154. Last but not least, Gervonta said he will knock out Crawford at 147. Well, after watching what Crawford did to Errol Spence, I'm pretty sure Gervonta changed his mind. But if he didn't, he could dare to be great and be an all-time great by fighting Crawford and showing the world what he's all about, because actions speak louder than words. And we all know Crawford is all about that action. It's like Crawford said, once you guys see what I do to Errol Spence, I guess you guys gonna say, I just beat another nobody. With the facts being laid out, drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe below. And to be continued on the next episode of Akhi TV. Peace out. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.